Buddy, my name's Graham Matthews, and as you know, I run Empowered STEM. Empowered STEM is an A-level course provider, and we provide A-level courses in biology, chemistry, physics, and maths for those students that want to enroll in medical, dental, veterinary, financial, and engineering programs at the chosen university in the UK. So today, I wanted to come in and I wanted to talk about the hidden reason home revision is failing. And parents, this is probably one that you can connect with. Your teen sits down at home to revise, but nothing really changes. The books are open. They set some time aside in the evening or on the weekend. They're looking busy. But weeks later, the marks don't improve. The confidence drops and the stress level begins to increase. So your natural reaction is this. Well, maybe they just need to revise more. And it's a logical explanation. If the grade isn't where it should be in A-level maths and A-level science, obviously they've got to put in some more time, effort, and attention. But the real issue, it is an effort. It's the environment and structure around that effort. The core problem, parents, is this. The core problem is that home revision is usually unstructured. Most home revision happens without a clear system. Students, they choose topics randomly. Maybe I'll do some A-level biology tonight. Maybe I'll do some A-level chemistry. Or they're revisiting comfortable material, the topics that they know. They study passively, watching YouTube videos, copying over notes from school, filling out worksheets. And they avoid the difficult questions. You know the ones, the 6 markers in A-level chemistry or the 25 markers in A-level biology. And they stop before testing themselves. And they'll give you the reason. It's, well, I just need to learn it first, don't I? And after I've learned it, then I can test myself on it because it wouldn't make sense otherwise, would it? And from the outside, it looks like revision. But academically, it's not building performance. It's reinforcing familiarity. What your teen is stuck in what's known from the psychologists as the comfort bias. And it's this one. When teens revise alone, they naturally gravitate to what feels manageable, what they can handle, what they're comfortable doing. For example, rereading the textbook, copying over notes from school, reading the notes again, rewriting summaries, watching explanation videos on YouTube, reviewing topics that they already understand. I call this the feel-good one. I know how to do this, so therefore let me review it again. And this creates the illusion of productivity. From the outside in, it looks like your teen is being productive. Even they are feeling productive because as the time goes down on the revision session, they can see all the work that they've generated. But the issue is this. The issue is that exams reward something different. What exams reward is application under pressure. Now, parents, you and I both know that they've rewritten the exam in the last couple of years. So that now to get a good grade, to get an A, an A star, or a B, you need to be able to start to apply the concepts, apply the material under pressure. And the problem with this way of revising, your teen is stuck in the comfort bias, is that comfort biased revision it rarely develops the 4 skills that they need to be successful on the exams. The other issue is that they're missing a feedback loop. So let me explain to you what I mean by feedback loop. It's this. One of the biggest problems with home revision is the absence of feedback. And without feedback, students don't know why marks are lost. Why did I only get 2 out of 3 on this concept question? Or 1 out of 2 on a definition question? Why is it on the 5-mark mechanisms in A-level chemistry, I'm always getting 3 out of 5? The 6 markers, why do I always seem to be capped at a 4 no matter what I write down? And the same train of logic applies to A-level biology. They don't know which concepts are weak, which concepts are strong. They don't know whether the exam technique is solid. Is it robust? Is it effective? Or is timing becoming an issue? Are they running out of time on the exam? But they're stuck inside the comfort bias. They don't have a feedback loop. And so what they do is that they repeat the same approach again and again. And so progress stalls, even though effort increases. They're stuck at a certain grade, a C, for example. They're putting in more and more effort trying to break out of the C grade. They can't do it. And so frustration also begins to rise, doesn't it? And then they begin to question themselves and their academic ability. The other issue that teens have is the illusion of time. Now, parents, you may be able to connect with me on this one. Many students believe, well, I put in 3 hours of revising all Saturday afternoon. I've made progress. I spent 2 hours last Wednesday evening revising A-level biology. Right there, there's some progress. But this is the issue. Time spent does not equal learning gained. You can spend 3 hours revising passively and not gain as much as half an hour or 45 minutes revising actively. Because the 3 hours of passive revision, it may produce minimal recall improvement. They still can't recall the definitions. They still can't recall the concepts. They don't see the frameworks in the head and how to answer the more difficult questions. Weak exam application. They're still getting tripped up on command words, on how to structure their answers in the way that the examiner is looking for. They still have a shallow understanding of the concept. They can't put together synoptic links between year 12 and year 13 topics. Because parents, effective revision is not measured by the number of hours that your teen puts in. It's measured by what changed. Like I said, 45 minutes of structured, active revision beats 3 hours of passive revision anytime. They also experience a performance gap. Now, the performance gap is this. It's a hidden gap that often develops between what your teen knows at home, in the comfort of the room, sitting at the desk, and what they can execute on an exam. Because at home, there's no time pressure. There isn't that clock ticking away at the front of the room. There's no exam structure. They're choosing the questions that they want to try. There's no mark scheme. They can't pause and Well, I'll just have a little look at the mark scheme. Yes, I would have kind of got that. That's close enough. And there's no performance stress. There isn't this idea that this is it now. This is the exam that's going to determine which university I get into and which program I can enroll in. But on the exam, either in the classroom at school or in the sports hall, the exam demands all four of these, doesn't it? There is time pressure. The clock is ticking down. There is exam structure. They have to follow the exam the way that the examiner wrote it. They don't have a mark scheme that they can look at and kind of, yes, I would have got it. And there is performance stress. And so without practicing in this environment, marks remain unstable. Now, one of the great coaches that I work with, he had this comment. He said this: you train under the conditions you will be tested. Meaning there isn't any point training in an environment which is not identical to the environment that you will be tested in. So what exactly does effective revision look like? What exactly makes revision work? Well, effective revision, meaning active and not passive, includes four elements. And these are the four elements that we teach in our courses at Empowered STEM as part of our PATH method. The first one is precision diagnosis. Your team needs to identify exactly why marks are being lost. Because if you know why marks are being lost, parents, well, then you can correct that mistake, can't you? Number two, conceptual clarity. They need to fix weak understanding at the root. Not just gloss over it. Yes, kind of got what the mark scheme is somewhat talking about. They really understand the concept on a deep level. Number three, strategic revision. Target specific exam questions and command words. For example, if your team always gets describe and explain mixed up in A-level biology or A-level chemistry, they would work questions that had describe and explain in them until they got the pattern down what the examiner was looking for. Or if they're really weak at the 4-mark calculation questions in A-level chemistry, then they know what to revise. So it's not a general revision, it's very targeted. And the fourth step is medical mindset. Treat mistakes as data, not judgment. We teach our students that their identity is not connected to the grade in A-level biology or A-level chemistry. The grade in these subjects, they're a snapshot of the habits that they had in studying, revising, after the last test that they took. Because when these four elements are present, parents, revision produces evidence, and evidence produces confidence. And we talk about this one. This is the belief spiral. Evidence produces confidence. And if you start believing you can do it, then all of a sudden you get more evidence you can do it, and you just spiral upwards. And not only does the confidence spiral upwards, the grade begins to move up the grade ladder as well, from a C to B, an A, or an A star. So parents, if you're trying to help your teen, what exactly can you look for? Well, we talk about question stems a lot. Okay. So instead of asking, have you done enough revision? Which is kind of a judgmental question, isn't it? It's up there with the why question. Why aren't you revising as much as you should be? And this opens up the belief. They got to defend it now because belief and identity are connected together. Ask behavior-based questions such as, so what's the specific mistake that you're fixing this week? Oh, I see, the 3-mark concept question. Right, got it, good. So what question types are you practicing? Oh, the 25-mark question in biology. Got it. Yes, that makes sense. So what pattern did your last paper reveal? I see, you made silly errors, you ran out of time, and the multiple choice just really threw you for a loop. Okay. What improved compared to the previous attempt? I see, you've move from a C to a B because you really slowed down and you got the frameworks in place for answering the pH calculation questions in A-level chemistry. Got it. If you ask behavior-based questions, it shifts the focus from effort to improvement. Because if you focus on effort, they've got to defend the amount of effort that they're putting in. If you shift it over to improvement, well, then that's different, isn't it? Because improvement is not necessarily connected to their identity. So parents, let me give you some reassurance. If home revision isn't producing the results for your teen, it does not mean that your teen lacks discipline, lacks ability, or isn't trying. It usually means that the structure is missing. And when revision becomes structured and diagnostic, progress becomes visible. And visible progress rebuilds confidence. We see it all the time. Parents, if you're watching these live streams on Facebook or on YouTube, and what I talk about each week, if it connects with you, you go, actually, Graham comes on to these live streams and what he's talking about and his ideas, I actually connect with. It resonates with me as a parent. Well, then brilliant. What you need to do, if you're on Facebook, join the Facebook page, subscribe, and you will be notified of upcoming live streams. If you're watching this live stream on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because again, you will be notified of upcoming live streams. But also, you can gain access to all of the other live streams that we've done. We're always putting out live streams every week that give you the tips, the techniques, and the strategies that you need in order to help your teen be successful in A-level maths and A-level science. Now, if you want to learn more about the courses that we offer at Empower STEM, real easy. There's a link in the description below the video on Facebook and the video on YouTube. All you have to do is click on that link, fill out a short form, and a member of my team will reach out to you and have a non-sales, non-committal conversation. And in this conversation, you can tell them how your teen is doing in A-level biology, A-level chemistry, A-level maths, what the grade is in the mark book, what the predicted grade is, what the aspirational grade is, what university they want to go to. That would be doctor, dentist, veterinarian, engineer, work in the financial industry. You can have all of your questions answered. And you can ask questions about our courses and we'll explain them to you. And at the end of the call, what you'll have is a mutual understanding, because you will understand what our courses can offer your team. And we can also understand whether our course can actually help your teen achieve these grades. And then you can make an informed decision. you can make the informed decision of whether you want to take it to the next level and invest in one of our courses. Everybody take care, and I'll see you on the next one.